Wilfred is an American television comedy series which debuted on June 23, 2011, and ran for 4 seasons. Based on the Australian SBS One series of the same name, it stars Elijah Wood and series co-creator Jason Gann, reprising his role of the eponymous dog. The series was adapted for the American television channel FX by Family Guy veteran David Zuckerman. Season 4 premiered on June 25, 2014. Wilfred moved to FXX for its 4th and final season. The series finale of Wilfred was broadcast on August 13, 2014. Episodes. The show follows a young man named Ryan and his neighbor's dog Wilfred. In the opening episode, Ryan concocts a drug cocktail in order to commit suicide. After this failed attempt, Ryan's neighbor, Jenna, knocks on his door to ask him to look after Wilfred, whom Ryan sees and hears as a man in a dog costume. Cast: Main Elijah Wood as Ryan Newman, Jason Gann as Wilfred, Fiona Gubelman as Jenna Mueller, Dorian Brown as Kristen Newman. Guest and recurring appearances: Mary Steenburgen, Mimi Rogers as Catherine Newman, Dwight Yoakam, William Baldwin as Bruce, Ethan Suplee as Spencer, Ed Helms as Daryl, Jane Kaczmarek as Beth, John Michael Higgins as Dr. Cahill, Alison Mack as Amanda, Robin Williams as Dr. Eddie himself, Brad Dourif as PT, James Remar as Henry, Kristen Schaal as Anne, Angela Kinsey as Heather, Gina Gershon as Gloria, Barry Watson as Michael McDerry, Rutger Hauer as Dr. Grummons, Tobin Bell as Charles, recurring Chris Klein as Drew, Rodney Tu as Dr. Bangashon *, Jerry Bednob as Mr. Patel, J.P. Mano as Leo, Rob Riggle as Kevin, Stephen Weber as Jeremy, Harriet Sansom Harris as Lonnie Goldsmith. *2 is also credited as a special guest in the Season 3 premiere. Production. Development. Wilfred is based on the critically acclaimed Australian series of the same name and was adapted for FX by Family Guy veteran David Zuckerman. Wilfred is produced by FX Productions, while the executive producers include Zuckerman, Rich and Paul Frank, Jeff Quaternetz, and Joe and Ken Connor from the original Australian series. Wilfred co-created Jason Gann and Randall Einhorn serve as co-executive producers. Einhorn directed 10 episodes of the first season and Victor Nelly, Jr. directed 3. The pilot episode was filmed in summer 2010, written by Zuckerman, and directed by Einhorn. Unlike the Australian version, which concentrated equally on Wilfred, his owner, and her boyfriend, the American version is presented as a buddy comedy between Wilfred and Ryan. Adapting the Australian series, there was interest in continuing the series on SBS, and even talk about a possible movie. However, a Renegade Film, the company that produced the original Australian series, was unable to sell it in its original version to any other countries. Gann left to create an entirely new series for the US that used the format of the original, and additional Australian seasons were not pursued. Gann was initially hesitant to make a US series, stating, "I had no interest in making the same show again, just surrounded by people with different accents." However, the show in the US differed greatly from the original series. When the show moved to the US, head writer and show creator Jason Gann took a more advisory role in the writer's room, only penning 6 episodes of the show's 4-season run. Gann has expressed that writing the US version is more taxing than writing the Australian version. His pitches often got rejected, and ultimately in the transition, he gave up a lot of creative control. This resulted in departing from the Australian series in several ways. When David Zuckerman took over the series, he expressed that the show's lack of international appeal was due to a lack of clear rules that the fantasy elements of the show could follow. He made it a priority to set and follow certain rules in the new series. In reworking the character of Wilfred and his relationship with Ryan for an American audience, Gann used the film My Bodyguard as a reference point. The show took on a much more light-hearted and hopeful tone, as the original series was often cited as being extremely cynical. The show was pitched to Gan as a whole different vehicle for the same character he played in the Australian version. Because the character was so crude, and because it had to be in a dog suit all the time, Gan originally didn't want to play Wilfred. However, he feels the character is actually very different from Australian version, having a lot more sides and overall, more fun, on more than one occasion. Gan has suggested that part of the reason the show had poor ratings in the US was because the show got bogged down in mythology and at times made comedy secondary, stating, "Season 3, we really tried to steer it back closer to where we were Season 1, and make it really comedically satisfying. I really felt we achieved that, but it wasn't enough, I guess." After the close of the final season in the US, Gan has considered going back and doing a third Australian season. The casting of Elijah Wood as Ryan was announced on June 29, 2010. Ryan is described as an introverted and troubled young man struggling unsuccessfully to make his way in the world until he forms a unique friendship with Wilfred, his neighbor's canine pet. Series co-creator Jason Gan also reprises his role of the eponymous dog Wilfred, a character described by Zuckerman as being a mixed-breed dog who is part Labrador Retriever and part Russell Crowe on a bender. Fiona Doubleman stars as Jenna, Wilfred's owner and Ryan's next-door neighbor, who works as a local news producer. Dorian Brown was then cast as Kristen, Ryan's controlling and condescending older sister. Filming Wilfred is shot using a DSLR, the Canon 7D, using a 3-camera setup. The show is now shot with a DSLR, the Nikon D800. Reception. Critical reception of the US adaptation of Wilfred was comparable to that of the original Australian series, with generally positive reviews. Review aggregator website Metacritic gives the series an average of 67 out of 100. Kurt Wagner, writing in Red Eye, said, "Stuffed with absurd situations and piles of bad taste, Wilfred is the strangest new show on TV, and the funniest." David Wiegand, in the San Francisco Chronicle, said, "Wilfred works on many levels, something that may not become apparent until after you stop laughing." Some of the less positive reviews included Mike Hale, who wrote in the New York Times, "Some shows aspire to cult status. This one goes straight there, practically bypassing the need to be broadcast at all," but concluded, "Gan's bits of doggy business are reliably humorous, but beyond that the show doesn't offer a lot of bark or bite." Tom Gliato of Weekly also gave a less positive review, saying, "The show is The Odd Couple redefined by psychosis and whimsy. I'm not wagging my tail." The series premiere hit a positive note with viewers as it became the highest-ranking debut sitcom ever for FX networks. It continued to remain in the top 10 shows for Thursday night cable television throughout the first season. It was picked up for a second season on August 6, 2011. The second season aired from June 21 to September 20, 2012. On October 31, 2012, Wilfred was renewed for Season 3, which aired from June 20 to September 5, 2013. On October 2, Wilfred was renewed for a fourth and final season, which aired from June 25 to August 13, 2014. Final season. The final season of Wilfred aired in 2014. The show moved from FX to FXX for its final 10-episode run. The crew was given warning well ahead of time so the show's creators could tie up loose ends with the final season. The decision to end the series was ultimately made by FX. Show creator Jason Gan was intent on continuing the series, stating, "We would have kept going. I think you would have to be crazy to quit a job like this." Elijah Wood has stated that the fourth episode of the final season is one of his favorites of the series, saying, "I read the season kind of in order, and I read like 1 through 3 and then I read 4 and it just totally blew my mind." The return of showrunner David Zuckerman, coupled with the focus on answering some of the show's deeper mythological questions, prevented Jason Gann from writing any episodes in the final season. Elijah Wood's friend has taken the basement set and recreated it at his house. Wood himself has possession of a stuffed bear and a bong made from a Gatorade bottle, both featured prominently throughout the series' possible film. Jason Gann stated in a recent interview that he and Elijah Wood would be interested in a Wilfred film, if the story is there. In another interview, he expressed that it's completely out of his hands, but if fans wanted it, he could see the show coming back in a streaming capacity, much like Arrested Development. International broadcast. Australia, premiered on 11 June 28, 2011, in the Tuesday 9:30 time slot, and currently repeated on the Comedy Channel in the Monday 9 p.m. slot. Season 3 screened on 11 on Sundays at 10:30 p.m. Belgium, premiered on 2BE, March 21, 2013. Canada, premiered on October 31, 2011, in the Thursday 10 p.m. time slot, as an anchor title for the launch of the FX Canada network. Ireland, airs on RTE2 since June 2013. Philippines, premiered on Jack TV, March 20, 2012, in the 9 p.m. time slot. United Kingdom, premiered on BBC Three, August 16, 2011, in the 10:30 p.m. time slot. Season 2 premiered on August 16, 2012, during the 10 p.m. time slot, remaining on BBC Three. Latin America, premiered on FX, November 13, 2011, in the Sunday 11 p.m. time slot. Russia, premiered on 2x2, August 27, 2012. Spain, premiered on Fox, September 14, 2012. South Africa, currently airs on Vuzu. Portugal, premiered on FX, February 13, 2012. Poland, premiered on Fox Poland, June 11, 2012, repeated on SK TV from September 23, 2013. Germany, premiered on ProSieben Fun, February 24, 2013. Turkey, premiered on FX, March 1, 2013. Croatia, Serbia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, premiered on Fox, March 2013. Austria, Switzerland, premiered on ProSieben, June 17, 2013. Netherlands, premiered on Comedy Central, March 2, 2014. Russian series. After winning awards at this year's MIPCOM, Renegade Films has sold the Wilfred concept to Russian producers, and a third version is being created for Russian networks retitled Charlie.